Hi, my name is Mayan, and today we're going to discuss educational technology, particularly the role of technology and media in education. Before we define what educational technology is, let's know first the meanings of education and technology. Education is basically the process of facilitating learning or acquisition of knowledge, skills, values, beliefs, and habits. Educational methods include teaching, training, storytelling, discussions, and directed research. While the definition of technology is it is a science or knowledge put into practical use to solve problems or to invent useful tools. Based on the definitions given, we can easily understand that technology is an applied science or knowledge in solving education-related problems, and it is also a useful tool to facilitate learning. Well, educational technology can be easily viewed as the use of technology in education. However, there are critical aspects we have to consider when it comes to technology intervention, choosing the right media or mode of instruction to incorporate it to different learning styles. Knowing and understanding basic concepts of educational technology, as well as its purposes and benefits, provide opportunities to teachers to design or use essential teaching materials, as well as to develop effective learning materials to therefore bring the learners into meaningful instruction. Educational technology is being defined as the theory and practice of design, development, utilization, management, and evaluation of process and resources for learning. In order for us to fully understand or get the whole idea of the definition, let's study the different terms that are included in this definition. And let's start with the theory and practice. A profession must have a knowledge base that supports practice. Theory consists of concepts, constructs, principles, propositions, or models that contribute to the body of knowledge, while the practice is the practical application of that knowledge to solve problems. It can also contribute to knowledge base through information gained from experiences. And going back to the definition of educational technology, there are 5 domains of the field. And these are the design, development, utilization, management, and evaluation. Again, these are the 5 domains of educational technology: design, development, utilization, management, and evaluation. Design is the planning phase of the field. It interprets reality in terms of the learning performance and negotiated learning expectations. While the development is the process of producing materials from a detailed plan. Instructional development, or also known as instructional product development, is a process of finalizing procedures or testing materials intended to support instructional episodes. Utilization is the actual use of knowledge and skills, and it usually includes the application of information and procedures on a regular basis. And the purpose of utilization is to bring the learners into contact to the learning resources and instructional system components. The evaluation is a dynamic process which allows people to obtain data about students' learning of specific content information under varying instructional conditions. And lastly, the management, which is the linchpin, which binds all the domains of educational technology together. We have also the terms process and resources for learning. Di ba kita ulit? Process is a series of activities directed towards a particular result. It includes delivery process, instructional design process. An example of this is the study of instructional strategies or teaching methods, while the resources are the products or the sources of support for learning. This is not only including devices and teaching materials that we use in teaching and learning, but it also includes people, budget, and facilities. And the last term we have here is the learning. The learning is the goal while the means is the instruction. And learning as evidenced by changes in knowledge, skills, and attributes is a criterion for meaningful instruction. And the purpose of educational technology is to affect and effect learning. Now, educational technology is the combination of the theory and practice of all the 5 domains of educational technology, which are design, development, utilization, management, and evaluation of process and resources for learning. We study this topic, which is the EdTech or educational technology, to introduce basic concepts of educational technology, to understand the significance of the course in the teaching profession, and by the end of the lesson, the role of educational teaching and media and education will be pinpointed. And here are the basic concepts of educational technology: as a process, as a product, as a profession, and as a discipline. As a process, as we have discussed lately or earlier, it is the theory and practice of design, development, utilization, management, and evaluation of process and resources for learning. And as a product, it includes the product of this process, such as program text, TV programs, computer software, audiovisual media, interactive media, and entire courses of instruction. As a profession, it is composed of various job categories, such as media technicians, media specialists, instructional developers, and more. And as a discipline, it is an academic specialty within the larger discipline of education, such as graduate degree programs, scholarly journals, and books. Effective educational technology approach requires technology intervention. Technology intervention is the process of determining where and how technology fits into teaching and learning. In technology intervention, the teachers are not just only using technology to facilitate learning, but they also consider some aspects such as incorporating media into different learning styles and into different situations, or how the learning objectives will be achieved. The use of technology the use of technology in education has evolved through the years with the aim of meeting the learning needs by developing and innovating approaches or programs which help, uh, which provide, or which make information available or accessible. The history of educational technology started in 1960s. During that time, the use of audiovisual education has begun, and they use overhead projectors to enhance teaching and learning by improving comprehension and retention. And related professions during that time were psychologists, educators, and technologists. In 1980s, more computers have used in classroom. Digitized communication and networking and education were facilitated by personal computer. And in 1990s, or what we also call the computer age, they saw the advent of World Wide Web and creation of course websites, webcoms, multimedia, and new schemes of communication. Educational possibilities were endless, and Google, the search engine, was developed. And endless information was available to those students who knew where and how to search. At the present time, as we can see here, different types of multimedia are now available, be it in making music, taking photos or videos, filmings, recording, and a lot more. Computer technology is now a regular and integral part of teaching and learning in today's classrooms. Through the different multi-platforms such as desktop, laptop, smartphones, iPods, and netbooks, which we can use in teaching and learning as a channel of communication and accessing information. Educational technology has affected positively to teaching and learning, especially to the learners, as it improves comprehension and retention through creative and stimulating instructional settings or designs and approaches that engage them in the learning and encourage collaboration. Educational technology increases a students' motivation, self-esteem, self-confidence, and academic achievement. Audiovisual aids are commonly used to enhance learning and instruction by improving comprehension and retention. Hence, students become academically accomplished. Educational technology supplies stimulating environments that encourage student involvement in the learning process, rather than the traditional way of teaching, where students are just observing, listening, or taking down notes. With educational technology, we can keep our students stimulated by engaging them in activities which involve the use of technology or media to create, in order for them to learn or to create rather than just observe. Educational technology also promotes higher level thinking skills. The right educational technology approaches or programs can contribute to a major growth in areas related to critical thinking. Keeping a journal of classroom experiences in a Google Doc is one way to make sure that the ideas of students are being recorded, thus increase their level of thinking skills. Educational technology also offers students diversity, self-paced learning, and opportunities for individual growth and self-expression. Developing a podcast is one of the approaches that offers students opportunities for individual growth, especially self-expression, which you can easily give them the tool they need to create a podcast on a topic. A podcast is an episodic series of spoken Word digital audio file, which a user can download to a personal device for easy listening. They have the freedom to present in whatever manner they like, but they have to do all the research on their own. Educational technology also provides students with unique opportunities to apply skills and talents and to interact with others. Assigning individual and group projects, which include the use of technology or media, showcases talents and skills of the students. This may include video blogging or video documentation or simply blogging. The use of social media in education also provides students with ability to get more useful information, connect with the learning groups, as well as to other educational systems that make education convenient. Educational technology changes teachers' and students' role into positive directions. The use of technology itself as a tool for making learning materials helps teachers to be more efficient and effective in their teaching, and they become facilitators of learners who guide and assist their students. Educational technology also inspires students and teachers by making learning exciting and interesting. With various activities using different medias, students become more involved in learning, encouraged, and motivated, while the teachers become more creative with the available resources for teaching. And with educational technology, learning can be fun. Educational technology fosters the development of leadership abilities and teamwork. It encourages a more effective interaction during the instruction and a good relationship between teacher and his or her students and students among the other students. Thus, the teaching and learning are being enhanced and learning expectations are being met. Technology is truly a powerful tool in education, and it is evident in those enumerated contributions of educational technology to learners, teachers, and as well as instruction. The responsible use of technology in education comes from a purposeful and thoughtful synthesis of technology with a learning theory. One learning theory which help merge learning styles and technology effectively is the theory of multiple intelligences, which was developed by Dr. Howard Gardner. This theory suggests that people possess several intelligence that learners can use to interpret information. These learning styles include at least 7 intelligences, and these are spatial, bodily kinesthetic, musical, interpersonal, intrapersonal, linguistic, and logical, mathematical. Let's begin with spatial. Visual spatial people think in terms of physical space, and they're very aware of their environment. They like to draw, do jigsaw puzzles, read maps, and daydreaming. And they can be taught through drawings, verbal and physical imagery. And the tools we need to use to teach them include 3D modeling, video conferencing, photographs, multimedia, television, video, and text with pictures or charts or graphs. Next is the bodily kinesthetic. Bodily kinesthetic people are using their body effectively. They have a keen sense of body awareness, and they like moving, touching, and making things. And They communicate well through their body language, and they can be taught through physical activity and hands-on learning, role-playing, acting out. And the tools we need to use in teaching this type of learners are equipment or real objects. We also have musical intelligence. Musical people are sensitive to rhythm and sound. They love music, and they may study better with the music in their background. They can be taught by turning lessons into lyrics, speaking rhythmically, and tapping out time. The tools that we need to teach this type of learners include musical instruments, music, radio, stereo, CD-ROM, and multimedia. Next is the interpersonal intelligence. Interpersonal people like to interact with others, and they learn through interaction. They have many friends, they have empathy for others, and they are street smarts. They can be taught through group activities, seminars, and dialogues. And the tools that we need to use to teach this type of learners include telephone, audio conferencing, video conferencing, computer conferencing, writing, and email. Next is the intrapersonal intelligence, which is the opposite of interpersonal intelligence. Interpersonal people understand one's own interests and goals. They tend to shy away from others, and they are in tune with their inner feelings. They have motivation, intuition, strong will, confidence, and opinions. They can be taught through introspection and independent study. And they're the most independent learners among all of the other type of learners. Next is the linguistic intelligence. Linguistic people are using words effectively. They have highly developed auditory skills, and they think often in words. They love playing word games, readings, making up poetry and stories. And they can be taught through encouraging them to see and say words and read books together. The tools that we need to use in teaching linguistic type of learners include computers, games, books, tape recorders, and multimedia. And lastly is the logical mathematical intelligence. Logical mathematical people like to reason and calculate. They think conceptually, abstractly, and they're able to see and explore patterns and relationships. They like to solve puzzles and ask cosmic questions, and they can be taught through investigations as well as mysteries. And they need to learn and form concept before they can deal with the details. And what's important in this learning theory is that when we are addressing a specific learning need or style, is we need to use the right tool or media. And using the right tool or media includes decision on when we need to use a specific element or how we are going to use those elements to affect and affect learning. And decisions to be made when incorporating media into different learning styles include visual, printed words, sound, motion, color, ReLIA, and instructional setting. Visual media helps students acquire concrete concepts such as object identification, spatial relationship, or motor skills where words alone are inefficient. Sample of visual media is the use of a graph or chart when we're teaching statistics. The use of this type of media helps students to interpret data and see the relationship of the figure or item that they're actually learning. And other examples of visual media are images or photos, sketch, diagram, map, poster, globe, and others that help enhance the teaching and learning by improving students' comprehension and retention. Printed words. There is disagreement about audio superiority. To print for effective objective, several models do not recommend verbal sound if it's not part of the task to be learned. So print media is the most commonly used media most students are familiar with. And the oldest form of this media is the books or textbooks, which have printed words that are very effective in teaching vocabulary or teaching unfamiliar words. Some words have the same pronunciation but with different meanings, and printed words enable students to understand main concepts of what they are actually learning. And when presenting, for instance, the parts of the systems of the human body, images or illustrations should come with printed words, like this one. This type of illustration includes labeling, which helps students remember the parts as well as learn spelling of the words. Sound. A distinctive is drawn between verbal sound and non-verbal sound, such as music. Sound media are necessary to present a stimulus for recall or sound recognition. Audio narration is recommended for poor readers. Motion. Models force decisions among still, limited movement, and full movement visuals. Motion is used to depict human performance so that learners can copy the movement. Example of media which features motion is the use of video tutorial, like this one, where students learn by copying the steps in this tutorial. Motion media has the appearance of moving text and graphics on a display. Its purpose is to communicate information and in multiple ways. Next is the color. Decisions in color display are required if an object's color is relevant to what is being learned. Important words, when they are being presented, may be highlighted with a different color, the whole text's color to be recognizable and to retain in the learner's memory. When teaching children about an object, the relevant image should also be colored to make it stand out for them to be familiar with it. Next is the relia. Relia are tangible, real objects which are not models and are useful to teach motor and cognitive skills involving unfamiliar objects. And relia are appropriate for use with individuals or groups and may be situation-based. Relias are objects and material from everyday life. And relias make students relate to the topic they are learning to improve students' understanding of others' cultures and real-life situations. Here are the examples of relia. We have here the actual objects or real objects that we use in our daily lives. Instructional setting. As to the design should cover whether the materials are to be used in a home or instructional setting and consider the size what is to be learned. A few examples of instructional settings include performance aids, classrooms, mentoring, M-learning, and e-learning. As to the design, M-learning and e-learning are the types of instruction that may be used in home. M-learning is a mobile learning. This is a type of learning across multiple contexts through social and content interactions. This is a form of distance education where M-learners use mobile device, educational technology at their convenient time. While e-learning is learning utilizing electronic technologies to access educational curriculum. It refers to a course, program, or degree delivered completely online. As to the print instruction should be delivered in an individualized set a mode which allows the learner to set the learning pace. And providing individual handouts gives students references for their own learning, and they may also use those handouts for their review prior to the examination. Learning characteristics. In most modules, consider learner characteristics as media may be differentially effective for different learners. Each learner has past experiences or even innate qualities that impact the effectiveness of learning process. So a designer uses theory and research about learner characteristics to plan for modifications in instruction to support increased effectiveness for learner or one like him or her. These are the different learning styles for high school. This includes oral, visual, physical, social, solidatory, logical, and verbal. If you prefer using sound and music while studying, you belong to the oral learning style. And if you prefer using pictures and images, your learning style is visual. And if you prefer using your body, hands, sense, or touch, your learning style is physical. If you prefer to learn in groups or with others, your learning style is social. And if you prefer to work alone or use self-study, your learning style is solitary. And if you prefer using logic, reasoning, and systems, your learning style is logical. And if you prefer using words in speech and writing, your learning style is verbal. Okay, what is the role of technology and media in education based on our lesson today? I have listed here at least 4. The number 1 is the instruction enhancement. Number 2 is the easy access and availability of information. Positive effects on learners as well as teachers and instruction. And lastly, tools for different types of learners. Thank you.